In today's Leeds news, Berisha reports rejected Omobamidele update, Hull move for Gelhardt, Leeds working on goalkeeper options, and Tom Kerney on his Leeds exit. Morning folks, welcome back to The View. Jerry here with your news for Tuesday the 7th of January. Hope you're having a good week so far. Just to clarify a couple of bits and pieces for those in the comment section, the channel is a aggregate site that brings all of the news that's floating around all the other sites into one place and covers it in here and tries to fact check it as much as we can. So this channel is very much a news and rumours. So to clarify that, before I move on with the news, we will have James Marshman on the channel tonight 6 p.m. for a live stream to look ahead to the January window and look back at the first half of the season from a Leeds perspective. But we'll start off today around reports that came out yesterday about Leeds' move for a striker. Yesterday, several outlets shared news that Leeds were linked with a move for Bundesliga striker Mergim Berisha, and that Leeds had approached Hoffenheim for a move for the player. Late last night, Kyle Newbold of the Yorkshire Evening Post put out a piece where he said that contacts from Leeds United had poured cold water on this move. According to Newbold's news from Leeds, they say that these reports are false and maintain that the club is expecting a quiet January, and Leeds have not made any contact or are not planning to move for Mergim Berisha. It's not every single day or player that Leeds put a statement out or go to a journalist to say that these reports aren't true. It hasn't happened that often. There's been no pouring of cold water on the Door Turgaman link. There's been no pouring of cold water on James McAtee or Omobamidele. None of those have had cold water poured on them. Just the Berisha one, which is an interesting one to come out and say that this is not a move that Leeds are looking at. So interesting to see what will happen there. And moving on to a player that I've just mentioned and has been linked again with Leeds United, and that's Andrew Omobamidele. Increased speculation kicked off last night after Andrew Omobamidele was left out of the Nottingham Forest side, who beat Wolverhampton Wanderers to move into third place, I think, in the Premier League, which is a hell of an achievement. Omobamidele has been linked with a loan to buy move from Leeds United, and if the loan is deemed successful, Leeds could complete the move into a permanent deal at the end of the season for £11 million. What that would do for Leeds is it would allow Leeds to kick a price tag outside of the June 30th PSR deadline and into a window that possibly sees Leeds in the Premier League. Daniel Farkas said after the Hull City game that the side wasn't complete, but also doesn't like to work with a bloated squad. Currently, Leeds United squad is seen as one of the smallest squads in the Championship so far and planning for a quiet window. But the Sun have reported that Leeds and Sheffield United are both said to have a keen interest in the centre-back and have opened talks with Nottingham Forest. Some interesting information about the player. If you don't know an awful lot about Andrew Omobamidele, former Irish coach and Dundalk manager here in Ireland, Vinnie Perth, has spoke about Omobamidele recently in an Irish TV interview and said the following about him. A really, really exciting footballer. He's so comfortable on the ball. I hate giving players tags, but he looks like a young Rio Ferdinand. He is so calm on the ball. He is so assured on the ball. His passing range is excellent. He would fill several places for Leeds, would offer cover and competition in the right central back position for Joe Rodon, who currently only has James DeBayo or one of the other square pegs in Sam Byram or Ethan Ampadu to compete with. So that would give them options there, but it also will give them cover in the right back position where Omobamidele has occupied for the Republic of Ireland side quite successfully. And for me, when I have seen him playing there, looks as comfortable at right back as he does at right centre back. So it's an interesting one just to keep an eye on. Maybe Daniel Farkas looking at a three-man centre back option moving into the second half of the season, but we'll have to wait and see. And moving on to an exit from Leeds and some more updates on the Joe Gelhardt situation. According to reports in the Yorkshire Evening Post and in the Hull Daily Mail, they claim that Hull City are now said to be leading the race to sign Leeds United attacker Joe Gelhardt. Hull are said to be in need of striking options, but don't tell the Leeds United defence that after the weekend. And Gelhardt is seen as a realistic option for them. Gelhardt wants a move away from Leeds to get some game time, and according to these reports, Leeds have sanctioned a loan exit for the player in January. There's been a lot of reports about clubs that have been interested in him: QPR, Portsmouth, Plymouth, Glasgow Rangers, Hull City the latest one. But Hull City would offer Gelhardt the opportunity to play championship football and not have to uproot and move away from his home, not being that far from where he lives currently. So it's a move to me that would make an awful lot of sense. He gets the minutes, he gets to play in the Championship and test himself at this level or prove himself at this level, and he gets to stay relatively close to home. So that one would seem like an obvious one, but it is doing the rounds at the moment. Moving on to a story that has come out today from a former Blackburn Rovers chief scout, Mark Brown. and he claims that Leeds United are working on goalkeeping options behind the scenes. According to former Blackburn Rovers chief scout Mick Brown, Leeds are working on goalkeeping options but don't expect to bring any goalkeeper into the club in January. Brown says that Leeds are assessing their options ahead of a potential summer move for a goalkeeper and are not looking at bringing anybody in right now. And these are reports that were actually made public not that long ago as well. Brown says that Leeds want to sign a goalkeeper, but it will be in the summer. And although the club are said to still value Illan Meslier, his mistakes and the persistent nature of the issues forced the club's hand to look at options should they be promoted to the Premier League. Brown doubled down on the part of the news story where he said that Leeds won't make a move in January, and reports of Leeds making a move for Malmo goalkeeper Noel Tornquist are said to be wide of the mark right now. Leeds have an interest in the Malmo goalkeeper and have watched the goalkeeper, but as of right now, any reports to state that Leeds have made a move for Noel Tornquist or have open talks with Malmo are said to be incorrect and wide of the mark. And moving on then to the final story of the day before we give you some brief updates on tonight's stuff. Former Leeds United Academy graduate Tom Kerney has been speaking about his time at the club and some details around his exit. Former Leeds United Academy player and current Fulham number 10 Tom Kerney was a guest on Monday Night Football on Sky last night and spoke about being released by Leeds United quite some time ago. Kearney's links to Leeds United have been very well known by a lot of people for a very long time, but the circumstances surrounding his exit from the club and how a decent player like Kerney ended up not playing at Leeds United aren't as well known. Kerney spoke about his time at Leeds United, and he joined the club at the age of 7 or 8 and was with the club until the age of 16 when he was released by the club. At that point, Kerney says he was released because he was physically too small and too weak and the club weren't in a position to hang around and wait for him. He said that Leeds told him that they didn't have the time to wait for him to develop physically and as a result decided to release him. He said physically he was weak and he was smaller than the other players, but technically he was probably in the top couple of players in the squad. Kerney left Thorpe Arch back in 2007 and has had a very successful career at Blackburn Rovers and had a big impact during his time at Fulham as well, and has had a very good career for himself. Another one of the young academy players that was released by Leeds probably a little bit too early and went off to have a decent career at a time when Leeds were struggling. Kerney has a very good track record against Leeds as well. Came back to haunt us on several occasions. And then just a really quick update again, folks. We will have James Marshman on the channel tonight 6 p.m. for our live stream to look back at the first half of the season in a review as well as the transfer window and what Leeds will do. There's been a couple of Team Talk stories that have come out. We'll get James's opinion on them as well and what Team Talk have heard about Leeds' January plans up front. And then obviously we'll have Ben Jacobs is coming onto the channel as well, likely to be around the 15th of the month. We're just clarifying that, but that should be happening as well. And again, will give us another take on what the January window will look like, by which stage Leeds will have the Harrogate game behind them, and conversations around who plays in goal for the next league game against Sheffield Wednesday will likely pop up. Carl Darlow expected to play in goal for the Hullman game, but Daniel Farke will have a press conference today. You've likely already seen it, and he'll give some updates on what's going on in that situation. Likely to get questions on the goalkeeper and likely to get questions on a transfer move. And then just again another reminder, the club that we have here at the channel launched our merch store as well, so if you want to support the channel by buying any of the Leeds United merch that is on this channel, you can click the link down below and that will bring you to the channel, bring you to the website where you can purchase stuff there, and that will help out the channel. Folks, that'll be it for me today. I'll see you later on tonight for that, and I'll see you later on. Enjoy the rest of your day. See ya. Bye.